Welcome, everybody, to the Closer to the Edge podcast, the anti-sleep aid for anyone sick of political self-censoring and hushed tones on the left-wing podcast at a time when we need to be loud.
So buckle the fuck up. By the way, I wanted to give a shout out to Doug while he's gone for being the best damn co-host a person could ask for. I'm so happy that Drill Sarge said yes to the idea of a Closer to the Edge podcast. So thank you, Drill Sarge Doug. Well, it looks like Doug might be coming back into frame here. I see some activity on his camera. Yep, that's him. That's Drill Sarge right there, sitting down in the chair. He's ready to go. You ready to go, Doug? Oh, he's working on the sound. He's going to get the audio tight here.
I'm ready. Been ready. Stay ready. Always ready.
Oh, kick ass. All right, well, you're going to have to listen to what I recorded while you were gone, but I'm glad you're back. I'm glad to be back. Tell me what you've been up to.
So, I'll tell you one thing, man. This has been probably, as a year goes, it's only, what is this, the 16th as we're recording this?
Yep.
With a month and a half, literally, into a year. I haven't had the longest month and a half of any years in my life but this one. It feels like it's been 2026 for about 3 years already.
Right. This month and a half, it feels like a decade.
Yeah, bro. Like, what is going on? So for me, I've been really kind of missing the mark on a few things with Sons of Liberty. I know they got a lot going on, but I've been so focused on these campaigns, on Malcolm Ritchie's campaign. Did an interview with him, and we're trying to work out I got him connected with a strategist and people to help him on the ground in Ohio's 6th district. The campaign with Bree Woodson I've been working on, and that has just kind of snowballed into its own thing. Jordan Herrera wants me to be, I'm supposed to be in a meeting today with him, but I couldn't do it. But with his whole team, like they want me to do something with their team and help them out with media. They want us to have him on as many times as possible. So I know we are going to as well.
Yeah, but the guest list is growing here,
bro. All I've been doing is worried about these campaigns, man. I've put my head down and kind of my horse blinders on, and I've missed a lot of things outside of that. So, what about you, man? What's been going on with you before we have our illustrious guest to come on stage?
Oh, man. Today's been a big day. We went to a march in Minneapolis. The live stream's on our Facebook page if you want to check that out. We also went to Cold Spring Camp, which is a camp that they're setting up on out at Fort Snelling, which is a state park. They're setting up teepees. They're setting up kind of a standing rock type situation. They're occupying the land. So we were out there today helping with firewood, and I'll probably go out again tomorrow. Georgia Port and I think some other individuals have a court hearing tomorrow for the same church incident that we covered, where Will Kelly and Nikema, Levy Armstrong, and others, Don Lemon, went into the church. Yeah, so
and they charged him. Can you imagine that they charged him with civil rights violations? How gross and depraved are these people, man?
It's sick. It's sick. So I'm and then I guess I'm going to the National Press Club. I guess we can talk with Robbie about that, but I'm headed to the National Press Club next Tuesday for the State of the Swamp, but we'll talk to our guest about that. Is he backstage yet?
Yeah, he's here with us. People, you know him as the singing giraffe. What is that? The Epstein giraffe. I don't know.
The Jeffrey Epstein giraffe, but
Jeffrey Epstein giraffe.
He's the man that really needs no introduction, if we're being honest. And I feel kind of silly introducing him because that's it. If you don't know who he is by now, you've been living inside a cardboard. I mean, I don't know. You've been living somewhere dark.
You've been living in a rock in a cave. We have with us Robby Roadsteamer. Wow. Right. What's going on, brother? What's going on? How have you been, my friend?
I'm doing good. Can you hear me? Did ICE shut off my signal?
No.
You sound great.
Hell yeah, Robby Roadsteamer, fresh out of an ICE detention center, fresh also out of the Hennepin County Jail in Minneapolis, ready to rock and roll again.
So we were wondering this on my last show. We were like, well, wait a minute. Was he arrested again? Was this the third, the fourth? What's the count here? Where are we at now?
At 3, but literally 2 of them in the last 3 weeks in scenic, beautiful Minneapolis Whipple Federal Building.
Yeah, and the first time they brought you into Whipple, right? I mean,
the first time I went right inside, that was a personal vendetta where DHS agent 667 Brenda Gonzalez was offended that I was humping the road like this while I was singing the Who, DHS Wasteland, it's only a DHS Wasteland. And she literally, after they sent 20 ICE agents to go second knuckle behind me, forced me down to the ground, she told me that she was the one who personally sent that because she didn't like me humping the street.
That was the reason.
Yeah, they put it under, blocking traffic, but I had firsthand knowledge from, once again, Officer 667, Brenda Gonzalez of the DHS officers, that it was because of my humping. That was what she called in 20 ICE agents.
Illegal humping.
Illegal humping in the street.
I mean, I was humping the street. I'm not going to deny that. I want to annoy ICE any way possible. And I find, obviously, Rook knows when you make it sexual and you make it weird on ICE, they'll get the hell out of town. When you start throwing dildos at them and you start getting in a thong underwear and you start getting sexual, that's like their holy water. They don't want anything to do with that.
I was wondering, 667 Gonzalez. So give me that name again. I want to make sure that we have it right for, of course, just for the documentation purposes. What was that again?
She claimed her name was Violet to me, and then somebody told me on TikTok she's from Indiana, and her name is Brenda Gonzalez from Indiana, DHS Officer 667. You might see her in a couple of other videos where some of the ICE agents drew tear gas balls, and it shot backwards into her face, and she started coughing. And
do you know if she has any problem with any humping going on in the Epstein files, or is it just you with inanimate objects?
I should have got into that. I wish you were my lawyer there. Jeez, that would have been a good one. Like, what about all the humping on the Epstein place, girl?
Is that because I want to know what type of humping is the most offensive to her? That's all I'm trying to figure out.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, I wish I had that one in the arsenal when I was there. It was pretty weird. I mean, I was handcuffed to a chair. She kept hand feeding me water. She even wiped my nose, to the dismay of the other officers. I think she had a little bit of a lady cop crush. And I came back when I got arrested the second time looking for her. I had flowers. I was going to cover Marcy Playgrounds. I smell sex and candy, yeah. Who's that in the Kevlar vest, yeah. You know?
You gotta warn me before I take a sip, bro. That's why I'm gonna spit that shit out.
So, but you're gonna come back and look for her again at some point, right? You're not just gonna give up. right?
No, giraffes don't give up, especially with finding mates. And I know we had a connection. When they released me the first time from the Whipple building and we were outside, and I'm like, I felt like when you were giving me water, Brenda, we had a moment back there. And this was all while Jolly Good Ginger was screaming behind the fence, "Let him go, you Nazis! Let him go!" And here I was trying to get a phone number from sexy Brenda Gonzalez. And I will come back to try to win her over. And hopefully... I'd like to serve her right in the middle of the street, man. Maybe a kiss on the cheek, a foot massage. I mean,
Maybe
what
a serenade. You could serenade her right there on the spot.
Serenade her, like hanging around downtown by myself, and there she was, in triple Kevlar vest. Yeah, there she was, like a sexy huntress. I smell sex and ice. Yeah.
I'm wondering, could you convert one of those dildos into a microphone? That way, you're singing into the literal love machine. Like maybe it'll inspire some.
I love it. You're my Quincy Jones. Just produced a whole album. I want the strap on in my hand. I want the fog machine behind me. I want the flowers. And I think I can win her over, man. And I feel like this could turn the tides of the relationships between ICE agents and protesters in Minneapolis. And
right.
I'm ready to serve her.
Do you think our readers can our readers help? Can our readers send notes, love letters? Are they try to win her over? I mean, not that you can't by yourself, obviously, but I don't know if there's a way for our readers to get involved.
I feel like the best our readers and listeners can do is if they can find out her work schedule. You know, nothing can be worse than flying in from Boston, 3 hours with roses and scented oils, and to find out your lover is not there that day. She is on vacation. So if we can find out her work schedule, that's all I need. I'm going to do the rest. I'm going to bring salad tongs for her butt cheeks. I'm going to bring pecan lotion and cocoa butter for her beautiful iced ripped shoulders. I mean, this girl is jacked.
Okay, well, the viewers, the readers, and the viewers and listeners know what to do. You guys get on it, man. I know we have a resourceful bunch listening and watching us. Before we get into some history stuff, because I did come in the middle of your interview on Sons of Liberty. I missed some, but I also heard a lot. And we might get into some of that history here. Let's talk about what's next. I believe Rook said that there's something going on Tuesday. Are you going to be a part of that as well?
Oh, hell yeah. So down in Washington, Defiance.org is renting out the National Press Club, and they are going to have the Drain the Swamps to go up against the State of the Union by Pumpkin Spice Satan. And so I'll be on a panel being interviewed by Jim Acosta, and then later on, I'll be on stage during the State of the Union giving out prizes. We're going to have a bingo. So every time Pumpkin Spice Satan says something like the radical left, we're going to give out shots, T-shirts, and then afterwards, I'm going to lead the brigade down to Black Lives Matter Plaza. We're going to have a march from the National Press Club going down there, and it's going to be a star-studded affair. We're going to have, oh my God, Robert De Niro, Mark Ruffalo, and it's just going to be Stacey Abrams. It's just an all-star team of warriors that are going to come down, and they're actually flying in all the Portland Frogs too, man. So wow. It's going to be like a Coachella for the onesies.
And I think that there's a couple senators and reps that are skipping the State of the Union and coming to State of the Swamp instead, because because why do you want to go listen to Pumpkin Spice Palpatine? We don't want to listen to that.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's hard enough to look at a almost dead pile of orange skin cells attached to a pee bag, much less listen to it. So I think I would definitely, if I was them, want to join you guys where you're going. I had no idea that this was happening. Rook, how could you be hiding this from me? What the hell is going on next Tuesday? You gonna be a part of this, man?
I just found out, and I'm lucky to be going because It sounds like we needed a writer and a photographer, so I'm always there to take care of this giraffe. He brings me so much joy, and he's doing it the right way. So yeah, like it or not, Robbie's dragging me to DC. I'm not really not dragging. I'm so excited to be a part of it, and couldn't be more thankful. I didn't think I was going to wind up in the National Press Club this fast.
That's freaking so awesome, man. Robbie, all of this is from you going out there with a freaking microphone, a speaker, and going hard. Now, I'd like to know, when did you start this? What made you start this? Were you this much of a genius, or was this an accident, man?
Well, I'm up in the Boston area. I started off fronting a metal band called the Sweatpant Boners, where I did comedy metal songs up toward Warped Tour. And I was going to political events, but I was going as sort of myself, Rob Patillo, and I had like this voice, and I was sort of a dork. And I used to sing protest songs behind a protester named Vermin Supreme, a guy with a boot on his head who used to run for president. And I started going to the DNC in 2012, Charlotte, North Carolina, Trump's first inauguration in 2016. And I got a good taste for the activism. And then I had an epiphany. What if I brought this beautiful metal character, Robby Roadsteamer, to the protests instead of my little beta Rob Patillo character? So 3 years ago, I started going to political events as Robby Roadsteamer, singing brutal political songs about Trump, like she wore a raspberry MAGA beret, the kind you buy when you're in the KKK. Raspberry. Yeah, so it's like basically that started going. She wore a red MAGA beret, the kind you buy when you take a lot of K. That got me 1 million views, and I'm like, holy shit, screw being myself at these protests. I want to be a wrestler. I want to be Robby Roadsteamer. So I hit like 80 to 100 MAGA events, singing my hit songs over the next 2 years. Trump was on the Jeffrey Epstein plane. He was chasing around young girls, putting ketchup on his ear. He even blew Bubber in the rear. You know, a lot of hit songs. You are an Epstein teen, young and sweet, under 17. You're in the mood for a dance. Watch out for J.D. Vance. You know, and I just was a hit machine. I started hitting these people one-on-one. I trolled Hulk Hogan twice, singing his theme song to him. Trump is a real felon. Then he went to Epstein Island. I trolled Steve Bannon, and right when he got out of jail, he had a press conference in New York, and I pretended I was with Tim Pool, snuck in. I'm like, Steve, when are we going to storm Burger King? And when's the next insurrection, man? How are we going to do this? I sang Strong Horse Legs to Marjorie Taylor Greene. I was the last person to troll Charlie Kirk as Gary the Guantanamo Gator. Yeah, Strong Horse Legs, man. I wish that Marjorie stayed in politics, because that would have been a hit song this year. She's got style. She's got grace. She puts the liberals in their place with her strong horse legs.
Oh, my God.
So needless to say, this year I got a lot of really cool organizations behind me. 5051 DC, Defiance.org, the Rook T. Winchester Club, a.k.a. the Knights of the Wrong Table, Defiance.org. And, I got resources now, so I basically can go to these shows, these protests in a limo jacuzzi, in the back with the girls, nice pecan lotion on me. I mean, it's all sellout now, but, that's pretty much my Wikipedia right there.
Outstanding.
I hope you don't make that gal from Indiana jealous. Like that, maybe we want to, I don't know if she's going to, she's got to know that there's other women out there interested in you. So,
if I could be in a sandwich between Marjorie Taylor Greene and DHS Agent 667, salad tongs, cocoa butter, Hell yeah.
before I lose my dinner here,
Wake up. Come on,
So,
let's make love.
Robbie, I have a question. You mentioned Knights of the Wrong Table. I don't think I've ever told Doug about the Knights of the Wrong Table. Can you catch him up to speed?
Yeah, I mean, I'm part of several organizations, and individually there's cool people in each one, but a lot of these organizations, they don't have a sense of humor. They don't know how to go in and romanticize the country. They're so hell-bent on out-debating little boys at Turning Point and out-debating little men at MAGA. And it's like, we got to bring the comedy again. We got to bring the merry pranksters, the spirit of Haight-Ashbury. And Rook, on the last day that I was in Minneapolis after I was detained by Hennepin sheriffs, brought me to the Mall of America, and we went on the roller coasters. And I remember right afterwards, we were talking about, man, what a crew we have. And I think that Rook said, like the Knights of the Round Table. And I thought he said wrong table. And I'm like, that's genius. We are the Knights of the Wrong Table. And he's like, I said right, but I don't care, dude. We're at the wrong table.
The wrong table. No, it was perfect. It was my mumbling finally paid off. It finally paid off. It took a long time, but yeah, because we had all these activists in town that weekend. And Robbie, maybe you want to tell us what happened the second time you got arrested in Minnesota and how that was different, a lot different than the first time.
Oh, they learned. The second time they grabbed me from behind while everybody was just dancing and singing, and they brought me the back way behind the other side of the road from the Whipple Center, and they didn't want to make it a public spectacle. They just wanted to kidnap me. They threw me in the back of an SUV. They didn't realize that CNN was making a documentary about me that weekend, and I was still mic'd up on the lavalier mic in the back of the SUV. So while these asses were out there being like, we don't even know what we're going to charge you with yet. I'm like, I'm still mic'd up by CNN while you guys are doing illegal things. I just want to let you know.
Holy shit.
And you can hear them in the car like, I guess we're just going to get you for interfering with the law process. At first it was blocking traffic. And then they realized that's what ICE tried to get me for 2 weeks ago. So they tried to get me in order to keep me in prison for 5 days jail, obstructing the legal process, meaning that I was interfering with a cop while he was trying to arrest somebody or do something legally, which was complete bullcrap. They took me down to the Hennepin jail. They stripped me down. Everybody saw my bits and pieces inside there and stuff. And then they photographed me, they fingerprinted me, they put me in a room with 25 men. 25 men were in the room that was 20 by 20. There were beds on the ground. There was one toilet. They didn't give me my heart or kidney meds for 2 days. And we had to watch Dane Cook movies, which I knew was part of the punishment. And I swear on this, they showed 3 in a row. Employee of the Month, Good Luck Chuck.
Oh, and, my God.
I think some other one with the girl from Almost Famous. Every one of them had a weird love scene where Dane Cook and, these guys, it was hell on earth. I have stage 4 polycystic kidney disease.
I was just going to say, man,
I can't pee and poop.
Talk for real for a second about that.
I felt like I needed to pee like a 16-hour road trip, but yet I couldn't pee because everybody was looking at me on the toilet. And so I was holding stuff in. I was malnutrition. They wouldn't give me anything that didn't have sodium in it, which is killing my kidneys. There was nothing healthy. And I thought I was going to go on dialysis by Tuesday. I was in there for 27 hours. All night guards were coming in and out with new prisoners, putting them on the ground. I remember a couple of guys came in at 5 in the morning and they're like, you got to be kidding me, man. We're in this room 24/7. This is worse than Dakota County, man. And I realized I was up Pooh Creek without a paddle. Around 11 in the morning, where I had no sleep, I was going on 2 days of no sleep because I never sleep the night before I take a plane. I'm getting ready for the Super Bowl. And so I'm going on 2 days of no sleep. My kidneys are shutting down. I'm starting to cough up gray stuff. I had the jail flu for 2 weeks. I look outside and I see Rook and everybody in the snow. I see CNN cameras. I see hope. And I literally called up Rook an hour later, and he's like, hey, did you see downstairs? We had a rally for you. You're getting out in a couple of hours. I go from whimpering in the corner of my jail cell, watching a guy making a knife out of a comb, to like now just walking good. I'm walking around everybody. I'm like, you'll get out too, Mookie. You know, it's just a matter of time, man. Yeah, I'm out in an hour, man. My lawyers. And then all of a sudden I got this big shit-eating grin. And, 2 hours later, I'm at an Airbnb with Rook, Woke Farmer, Jolly Good Ginger, Cortez Rice. It was Murderer's Row, baby. We played Cards Against Humanity. We smoked weed like dirty kings all night. And it was just the greatest day of my life. I went from the perils of failure to literally drinking from the cup of the gods.
And that's how the Knights of the Wrong Table came to be.
Oh, hell yeah. CNN interviewed us afterwards. That documentary's coming out at the end of the month by Donnie O'Sullivan. And
I'm taking straws or bets. Will they or won't they play the incriminating parts where you were mic'd up and they were talking about the fact that they had nothing to charge you with and making fun of it, not knowing that if CNN does play that part, we'll know where they stand in fascism. What's your bet?
Yeah. You know what? That is a great observation question. I will go into the Signal chat right after this with my CNN cohorts, and I will ask and make sure they got that audio, because I know that's what they talked about in the car. Also, in the car next to me was a police officer screaming at the canine dog. And so you had me handcuffed in the back of the seat screaming, "You're a man, huh? Feels good to yell at a dog, huh, dude? Feels good over there. You're a piece of shit," just absolutely. These guys are despicable.
Outstanding. You mentioned being in this place without proper food. You mentioned that you have a disease that requires that you take certain medicine and that you have certain food. Now, I'm bringing this up because I want you to talk about it, but not just about because it's you, but because we've learned in our past few months of doing this show how many people have been neglected in healthcare, in these concentration camps that they're building all over the place, right, as we speak, where they're not given medicine. They're not even being treated for illnesses that they know they have. They're being malnutrition. And I don't think that people understand the dire situation that's going on there. So I think maybe through what you have, through your affliction, they'll actually see how important this thing is. Tell us about what you got going on and why that was so important to get those medicines.
I mean, I got polycystic kidney disease stage 4, which killed my mother. It killed my grandmother. It generally means that both kidneys are covered with cysts. And after 40, they start to strangle out function. So I'm about 30% capacity. When I reach 20, I'm going to need transplant dialysis. And so they basically gave me 2 out of the 8 pills I needed in 2 days in that prison, like a heart med, and then they finally got 1 out of the 4 kidney pills to me that night. So inside my body, it felt like 1,000 pins and needles, because I didn't have and also you had to drink obviously from the sink. You're drinking gray water from the toilet and stuff, pretty much next to the sink and stuff. So I wasn't getting properly hydrated. I was suffering. It's like sandpaper up and down your insides when your insides start to poo the bed with this disease. And this was 2 days of it. And everything I was being fed was bologna sandwiches and chicken patties that obviously weren't chicken. They were as chicken as a McDonald's McChicken, covered in a sodium salty filled gravy. There was no fruit. There was no other sources of nutrition. And you know what? I told CNN then after when I got out. This is probably 1/100th of what marginalized people have to deal with every day in ICE detention centers. Listen, I'm a white, Caucasian, Polish, Democrat boy from Massachusetts. I had a lot of people fighting for me when I got detained in Minneapolis, making sure I got out in one day. This is nothing. My story of what I had to go through is a drop in the frickin' bucket of what a lot of marginalized people in the Latina community, Mexicans, everybody else that's brown probably has to deal with inside of these torture chambers that don't have the benefit of 1,000 reporters and friends like I do. And it's sickening. It is sickening. It is literally pumpkin spice Satan distracting his Christian nationalist base by throwing brown people to the lions, just like the Roman emperors did while Rome was burning and the gladiator, the Colosseums. They were throwing the slaves to the lions while they were pillaging the coffers to the tune of $3 billion for his crypto coin that he uses to help launder money from his donors and everything. And rather than focusing on that, or the fact that he's mentioned 1 million times in the Epstein files, 1 million times, rather than facing that, he's distracting his Christian national base by basically forcing us to go to a civil war over ICE. He has us so weaponized right now on the streets in these blue cities that he's completely overtaken with his police force, that it's basically he's doing the same thing that the Roman emperors did in the Colosseum to distract the Christian white nationalists from the fact that they are pillaging our coffers, they are dismantling our government with the Doge, with the Supreme Court, and they are basically, hey, at least you're not this guy that's being held down by 4 cops in ski masks while the other one's pulling out a gun and shooting them in the back. At least you're not him, though. So, you know, we made America great again.
And they tap into that hatred of the other. Like they say, well, we can't have trans swimmers or trans volleyball players. Like that's got to go. Like, and they play on people's fears and prejudices, and it's you're exactly right, Robbie. You're exactly right.
All one of those trans sports people, all one of them, all one. They're just.
Right. 0.005% of people who participate in sports. But yet that and immigration, which, by the way, when it comes to immigration, nobody ever talks about the pathway to citizenship. The fact that right now you have to wait 20 years if you do not win the lottery to get a proper pathway to citizenship in this country. People that are hardworking immigrants coming. And by the way, you know, the amount of actual violent crime offenders that ICE are arresting is under 3%.
Of course, there's not that many of them.
Aren't criminals, and that another 30 to 40% are U.S. citizens. And the fact of it is, this is all about distracting the American public from the fact that our deficit is going to shoot through the roof and that we're going to have a $800 million ballroom that Trump can have his UFC fight in this summer while we argue about should there be men and women's sports, and hey, should we grab illegals at the border, or should we just say F it to due process and grab them in the middle of the street like Germany 39 and just show everybody this is the state we live in now. All because we were afraid of a couple of men and women's sports. And
that's sick, and that is unbelievable. But you know what is actually very believable for me? We had someone on, and I only out of loyalty will I not say the name, out of loyalty to out of ethics for reporting, I won't say the name. But we had somebody here who got a FAFO moment. They were voted for Trump, and then their people got taken away, right? And then we were like, okay, you know what? We don't want anyone to go through what Robby Roadsteamer had to go through in those detention centers, and this person had to go through them. That's why this person was talking to us, telling us what they were dealing with, what their spouse was dealing with there. And when I mentioned the question, I said, what made you want to vote for this guy in the first place? And he said he would get rid of all of the criminal illegal aliens, the criminal illegals. And then I said, what made you believe that many of them were criminals? But I need you to say it. Say it. What made you think that when you saw the number, when you see the numbers of the Dow, you go, yeah, I believe it. When you see the numbers about the school shootings or you see numbers about black people, you believe it. What made you think when they told you the numbers that there are not that many criminal illegals here? What made you say to yourself, nah, I don't believe it? Say it. And he could not say it. He backed off. He ran away from the question. The truth is, there's not that many of them. And you have to tell yourself that there's that many, that they're the only way you could be okay with mass deportations is if you think the most of illegal aliens or undocumented immigrants here are criminals. Say that, Dan, is all I've been saying. Say that, Dan, you racist fuck. Say it. That's why you believed it. Because it's hard for you to believe that there are brown people who don't speak English and they're not criminals. That's hard for you to believe. Just say that, Dan.
Well,
anyway.
Right-wing propaganda has drilled this into their head that if they're not a citizen, they've committed a crime. Like, they're illegal. They're not a citizen. They're not, they play through all this messaging for decades, just, talking down, even not realizing we're a country of immigrants.
Absolutely. We're dealing with 350 million people in this country, and anytime an isolated 0.007% of crime happens with a murder with an illegal, it's on the front minute of Fox News. It's on the front pages of any news rag that Murdoch owns across the country. It's the first thing out of the lips of Benny Johnson and Nick Shirley and Alex Jones and Donald Trump and all of them. Anytime a murder happens to be committed by an illegal, which is 0.0005% of all murders, not the fact that MAGA white nationalists are killing people in school shootings and whatnot left and right every day, it becomes an isolated statistic trying to implicate that all illegals do this sort of crime. Today, 2 men from Honduras murdered a woman in North Carolina. When is this gonna stop? Meanwhile, 40 other million immigrants are working their asses off to bring $300 billion to our taxes and our economy and are trying to become legitimized. But because of this one guy in Honduras who killed this one woman in North Carolina, everybody now is evil and uncontrollable about immigrants. And the Statue of Liberty doesn't mean anything anymore. We don't want you poor anymore. Give us your privilege, your white, and your blue eyes. That's what we're looking for. We don't want anything else anymore. We don't want to actually be the representation of all cultures coming together and making love and romanticizing the country anymore. We just want 20 women Botoxed out getting reamed over tables in Mar-a-Lago. That's our American dream now.
No, I got you.
I think you should go stay.
Wait a minute, Rook.
Go ahead.
I got you. The next time, this is a public service announcement. A public service announcement for Fox News watchers and racist fucks and black people and Hispanic people who vote against their own self-interest because they have been brain rotted out by people showing you what Robby Roadsteamer just said. When they show you the first person who got shot and it was done by a black person or an immigrant, ask them this number. Ask them this number. Look at it. Look at it. That's still not what they're showing you. You want to know who does the most crimes? It's easy to cherry pick. I can cherry pick too. Huh? If I believed this was the only thing, I would never have a white person around any of my kids ever again. Does that seem reasonable to you? Huh? And I'm out. That's all I wanted to say.
I
Let's continue
appreciate it.
on, bro.
Oh, it's hard to follow that, but I appreciate you ranting.
Sorry.
No, that
You
was
just
a.
have to follow the first line that says that white people did 80% of those damn crimes. All
Right.
right? We're the ones. We should be, according to ratio, the first hour and a half of Fox News with the last few minutes
Right?
being about any other crime. Today, 40 white men abused 2,000 underage women inside of a castle at Donald Trump Epstein Island. Meanwhile, there was another mass school shooting by a guy who hates Muslims. And that literally, if we're going to go for ratio of news, but no, anytime a guy from Honduras breaks a plate in Texas, tonight on Fox News, plates are breaking with these illegals. We need to send them out of the country. Their hands are slippery. Their feet are wet, you know?
Yeah. As long as we're ripping on the media, I need to say something because I want Nancy Guthrie to be safe. So I don't want anyone to get me wrong.
Oh God.
Nancy Guthrie, as everyone knows, was kidnapped, I think, a few weeks ago. And it's been just wall-to-wall coverage, and I really hope she's okay. But it really kind of irks me that all these people getting kidnapped by ICE, I barely ever hear their names on TV. Their stories, their families, what they did for their job, how they're getting treated. I mean, and a lot of their families don't know where they are. They don't know what camp they're in. They don't even know if they're alive in some cases, you know? So I just want to call out the media and say, you know, I do a better job.
Yeah, you're 100% right, sir. You're 100% right. And, you know, the whole point of having this, Robbie, you belong here because the whole point of having this podcast, we decided when we first made it that we weren't going to be soft and politically correct. We weren't going to you know, play the game of my esteemed colleague over there who just happens to be a Nazi, but other than that is an okay person. We started this podcast because we think that it's okay to say things like, it's not that I don't care about your mom. It's not that I don't care about your mom. But I need you to care a little bit more about all of the other stuff going on as well. The number of deaths have been 32. 32
Yep.
in 2025.
Yeah, and how many
32.
names do we hear? We don't hear those names hardly ever enough. We've been, you know, it's just Nancy Guthrie gets the clicks, and you know, because it's got this celebrity and this door cam, but you know, it's I don't know how many people ICE has kidnapped at this point. It's mind-boggling.
It's disgrace.
2025. Go ahead. 2025 was the deadliest year for those in ICE custody since 2004, and now we're on a bold start for this one. I'm sorry. Go ahead, sir. Speak, Robbie. Speak, Robbie.
I mean, we're talking about the murders, but what about the sexual assaults? What about all the Guantanamo Bay crap that is happening behind the scenes to good, hardworking immigrants that are being disgraced because of a pedo felon in the White House trying to cover his tracks? He knows what everybody really thinks of him, and he knows his day is coming. And rather than being a 79-year-old adult atoning for all his atrocities, no, let's just throw more innocent, marginalized people into dark cages with horny Proud Boys doing despicable acts of torture. And it's gross. And I hope on the other end, when we get back into the White House with somebody truly progressive that signs 400 executive orders the first day, a la Robby Roadsteamer, I am going to do what ICE did to everybody else. We're going to find out all their identities. We're going to hunt them down through their Ring cameras and everything else they use to get marginalized people in the first place. We're going to use all those despicable tactics onto them. And I'll tell you what, man, I'm going to build a camp. It's going to be called Gator Guantanamo. It's going to be down in Florida. And I'm going to put all these ICE agents in 20 by 20 cells with one toilet where they have to watch Dane cook all day. You know, they don't have to worry about being murdered or sexually abused. I'm just going to force them to poop in front of 25 of their fellow ICE colleagues and watch Dane cook all day and eat nothing but bologna sandwiches for 5 years. The same amount of time they had to stay in to get their 50 grand bonus. That's the same amount of time each of them is going to have to be in prison when this is all said and done due to Executive Order 137, Robby Roadsteamer 2028.
Love it. Robby Roadsteamer for president.
Well, I was just going to say, Robbie, do you ever think about running for office?
Oh, hell yeah. Let's go. I'm ready. I need to be legitimized. The whole wearing a thong and singing about plowing girls on the Jeffrey Epstein plane and getting arrested by ICE, I don't think it's doing it for me anymore. I like to wear some dirty Egyptian cotton shirts. I want to eat crab rangoon with AOC and just laugh with her while we run around the Capitol. I'm ready to run.
You're going to the whole press gala thing next Tuesday. Like, stay with what you're doing. It's working.
Sure, definitely.
I mean, you got to understand, 2 years ago, I was working at Home Depot in Watertown, Mass. Not a joke, hand on Bible. I was pushing shopping carts while a lot of my masshole friends would come into the parking lot. They knew my past. They knew that I was a metal singer, Robby Roadsteamer. And they're like, what's up, Robby Roadsteamer? You making Home Depot shitty again? Because I had a little slogan in Boston. We're going to make Boston shitty again. We're bringing back the attitude. And my fellow people would make fun of me. I was living in a one studio apartment bedroom downstairs from a veteran screaming upstairs, keep it down. I wasn't making any noises, dude. I was depressed. I was in therapy. And 2 years later, all through wearing a thong, dressing up as the Jeffrey Epstein giraffe so I could teach kids about
and the gator. And the gator.
No, I was just going to say.
Oh, yeah, Gary the Guantanamo Gator. Yeah.
What you only now use one costume? I swore I saw you in 2 or 3. Or what? When was the change happening? Where's the other costumes? Where are the other personas?
The change was in Portland because of the iconic arrest in the giraffe outfit. And a lot of people afterwards, they don't know my name. They don't know anything I've done. But if they see the giraffe outfit, they know quickly. And I thought rather than, in my head, do another green character like the frog, the Portland frog, because when I would wear the lizard outfit, the Gary the Guantanamo Gator outfit after the frog broke through, I had a lot of hipsters coming up to me, oh my God, are you the Portland frog? And so I thought if I went with a completely different color and really nailed it home, to have, if I got arrested a second time as an alligator, then it would be out of context. They wouldn't know it was the same person. But to see the giraffe get arrested 3 times, people I can see are like, oh my God, they keep going after that giraffe, that poor little giraffe boy. They're attacking him. So it's what the Colonel said to Elvis: familiarity breeds loyalty. You want people to become familiar with the brand. I still got the alligator outfit, and maybe I'll pull it out for a special away game like they do in the NFL. Sometimes you'll wear a special one-off jersey.
Old school suitor. Yeah,
well, it's working. Can you talk about that moment at the Mall of America when we were there, and the mom and the kid? Can you talk about that a bit? Because you're talking about people recognizing the giraffe, and this touched my heart. I almost cried.
Yeah, I mean, we had a couple of families at the Mall of America because it got around Minneapolis really quick when I got arrested, what was happening. And I remember even before the Mall of America, when we were outside of the jail during the interview with CNN, people were coming by, honking on their cars, going, giraffe, you're free, but I had a mother come up with 2 young girls, like 4, 6 years old, and they're like, oh my God, it's the giraffe, you're free. And you know what? The Portland Giraffe, the Minnesota Giraffe, he knows how to handle our youth. I got down on my knees and I'm like, that's right, I am free because we are still in a country for the free, by the free. And fuck ICE. I'm sorry, ma'am, but seriously, to these girls, fuck ICE. All right? Seriously. Sorry, mother. And so it was a real beautiful moment, except for the effing of the ice. But yeah, those kids need to know.
No, that's beautiful. That's absolutely beautiful.
Oh my God, the wind beneath my wings. Thank you.
It was just so inspiring to see, and it wasn't just the mom or the parents that knew you. The little kids knew you because you worked yourself into everyone's YouTube or TikTok or wherever they're seeing you these days. I don't know, but the people are definitely seeing you, and it makes me feel good.
I don't want to let them down. That's the fact of it is that alongside my job at being at these places and trying to take down ICE with hit songs, I also feel like we need to re-romanticize the country. We need to give people a reason to fall in love with what's happening again. And if I can get people to become endeared to the movement through dressing up as a giraffe and making people smile, I am at peace with my life, man, because I want people to know that this is still the country of freedom, for the people, by the people. And we've been playing defense for so long and just fighting to stay sane against an oligarchy. We have no idea of what progression is. And that's where I feel like the counterculture comes in. People like Rook become so priceless in terms of being those new Hunter S. Thompsons, those new Ken Keseys that brought the further bus across the country and brought people together with Haight-Ashbury, the hippies, the Summer of Love, a million people at Woodstock. That's what we need to do again. We can hate ICE all we want, but if we can't remind people that there are real deal Kerouac characters in this country, people who burn like a Roman candle, like Woke Farmer, like Jolly Good Ginger, like Cortez Rice, like Chelsea Gods, like all these activists, Rook T. Winchester, the Dreamers, the Creators, Flair, 5051 across the nation, Defiance.org, Unfuck America with all the debaters. We are coming together as a counterculture again. We're going to romanticize this country, and when we get out of this, we're not going to be playing defense anymore. We're going to have legal weed in all 50 states. We're going to have a $20 minimum wage. We're going to have subsidized living for artists in all the major cities, and we're going to let immigrants know that this country was built on the blood of their backs, and we are never going to forget that. And if Christian nationalists have a problem with that, well, I got a certain Guantanamo Gator compound that they can rot in and watch Dane cook all day while they poop on one toilet in front of each other.
Absolutely love it. Did you see Pam Bondi imitating your style the other day?
Yeah. She's a swamp witch. They're all imitating my style. I know they know all about me. They know that I have the voice of a generation like Bob Dylan, and they're stealing everything from me, and I don't blame them and stuff. You know, the fact of it is, I am the new sexual Jim Morrison for a culture that wants to have fun again, tired of playing defense. I know I turn people like Pam Bondi on. I know when she's in a room watching Steve Miller struggle getting his underwear off and his starters off while he takes 3 blue pills to get it up for 15 seconds while she's behind him with a vibrator doing weird stuff while they watch Encino Man. I know she wishes for a real man like me at those moments. You know, these women on the Republican side, they're sick and tired of the Stephen Millers, the Steve Bannons who look like Yoda with AIDS. And I told that to his face. It trended on Twitter. Right when they grabbed me, I'm like, you look like Yoda with AIDS, dude. I'm tired of the Emperor's New Clothes. All these guys are at stage 5 COVID, HIV. You see Trump with boils falling off his hands, and these women are frustrated. And I'm telling people like Pam Bondi, you don't have to impersonate me, baby. You can be with me. I'm talking you, me, Lauren Boebert. We're watching Beetlejuice. We'll be vaping and feeling each other up, and we'll be healing the party divide. That's right, America. I'll take a grenade with Bondi.
What about Kristi Noem?
That has to be a bit too far.
God's right. She's a bird-legged hoe for a reason. She has tinier than the breadsticks at Olive Garden, and I can't serve those legs. Now, Marjorie Green, on the other hand, strong, fat, Southern Georgia tan legs. Give me that all day. Give me the legs of AOC. But Kristi Noem, she's disgusting. It's just Botox, Botox, and then bird legs. Why not use Botox on your legs?
Hold on. Hold on.
I'm getting a drink. I'll be right back.
Wait. No. It's for you. It's for you, Robbie. So,
well, who's on the phone, Doug?
I'm right here. I just need to get my crystal light.
I'm hearing you. We have Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene on the phone. She says she's wondering if you will spot her on her next pull-up session.
Spot her?
Spot her.
I'll be the goddamn bar. You can pull up on me, baby. Like, I'll hold my arm out, and I can just let those beautiful sausage fingers wrap around my arm, and I want her to swing off of me. Off me like she's swaying off the January 6th Capitol, just back and forth, baby. And then afterwards, we're going to storm Applebee's together. We're going to storm Applebee's. We're going to cause the insurrection at Applebee's, me and her. And you know what, guys? I will do the dirty work, like Steely Dan would say. I will go down on my knees, massage those fat, thick, meaty feet, and help her see the light that maybe she shouldn't be a Republican. We got to remember, Marjorie's on the fence now.
Is she still on the phone?
She actually, I heard her making weird sounds as he was describing what he was going to do, and I couldn't listen. I felt uncomfortable. Very. I hope that she'll call back.
I wanted to ask if she thought it might be a good idea if Robbie runs on the Republican ticket, because I think
I can convert her. She was one of the first Republican congresswomen to say genocide about Palestine, and she also stood by the witnesses for Jeffrey Epstein at the Capitol. I was at that press conference. I hit on her right before the press conference, but yeah, I think I can convert her.
She says she will convert to whatever you want as long as you're wearing the giraffe when you do it.
Oh, hell yeah. I would love to make...
That's what she said. I'm not saying...
I want to make a progressive mistake baby with her, like a baby that me and her are both fighting over her identity and the kid's political background. I want to make a mistake baby with her. I want Brenda Gonzalez, 667 officer, in the room when it happens. I want to be like a David Koresh, like a cult leader, only instead of like innocent white people from the Midwest, I want to knock up congresswomen and get them to my compound up in New England. People like Lauren Boebert, Marjorie Taylor Greene, DHS officer 667, Noam Bondi. I feel like I can heal these women by showing them what a real man looks like, Instead of Stephen Miller with disgusting garter socks and miserable underwear, you can have a real man.
Do you want that many baby giraffes running around, though?
I don't know if
hey, in all honesty, guys, if I'm to get out of the comedy for a second, I am the last Patillo in America. Potylo. My dad died 2 years ago. If I don't repopulate the country, I'm screwed. I have enough money now due to ICE lawsuits. I have 3 lawsuits on my hands. These children are going to be provided for. How much is the country going to be rejoiced when you look at the cover of Newsweek one day and you see a hybrid giraffe spray paint tan Taylor Greene boy? That's what we'll name the kid too. We'll name him Giraffe Taylor Greene.
I think you're healing the country. They're healing the divide. You're healing the country. Back in the days, kings and queens and princes used to use marriages to heal divisions between two sides. And I think you're on the right track, Robbie. I think that the divide between the left and the right now is so ridiculous that maybe this is exactly what we need. We just need a union between these knuckle draggers and the giraffe. And the outcome would be the togetherness of America. Yes. You heard it here first.
We are on the verge. of a new sexual renaissance, just like the 60s. I don't want to hate MAGA anymore. I want MAGA back on my side. I'm willing to make love to the MAGA women, and I am willing to heal the party divide. Why are we arguing over 3 guys in women's sports? Why are we arguing over a pathway to citizenship when we could be making love over a better minimum wage, where we could be making love over a better healthcare system? We don't have to have a civil war over immigration. We do, though, need to have festivals where MAGA and woke can get together on the dance floor. They can forget about Trump. They can forget about Fox News. And hey, we might not agree on women, men's sports, and genealogy and LGBT issues, but maybe we can agree on some of the politics in the bedroom. You and me. I'm not that bad of a guy.
They're already taking the K, man. Just bring them on the dance floor. You guys love that stuff.
Well, speaking of festivals, can you talk at all about Wokestock?
We're trying to put together an amazing festival up in Boston called Wokestock, possibly Wokechella. We'll see what works in the design room and stuff. It's 2 days. It's going to be over the summer, counterculture music and festivals and arts. We're looking at July 18th and 19th because I want people to come up to my land, New England. I know we get stereotyped a lot as he's your dumb cousin that goes to Dunkin' Donuts and says Worcester all the time. Ben Affleck, Jimmy Fallon, they have stereotyped the New Englander. And I want to show you people that we're not just bad Sam Adams commercials and Matt Damon movies, that we can be creative, we can be sexual and poetic up in New England. So we're going to have Wokestock. We're going to have 2 days of bands and animal onesies. And we're going to have a dunk tank and mini golf and perhaps a llama. And we're just going to, once again, it's not about Occupy Wall Street, wearing V for Vendetta masks, blowing up Teslas, blocking streets. It's too expensive. It's about getting back to smoking, having a 40, making a little bit of love on the dance floor, and realizing, you know what? We don't have to declare a civil war over, once again, 3 people in women's sports. We don't have to declare a civil effing war over the border. We don't have to call one side or the other the enemy, or call them traitors, or call them dead on arrival. We can make love. We can come together on other things like a slightly better minimum wage, maybe not $7.25 nationally. Maybe we could federally get it up to $8. God forbid, give one person a half of a Jersey Mike sub an hour for their work. Like we can come together on so much other stuff instead of Fox News being like, listen, the only 2 topics on earth is this woman who was a man in women's sports and this immigrant down in North Carolina that killed somebody. We need to eradicate everybody. If you don't agree with this, you are the radical left and you'll be hunted and killed. It's like, bro, can't we just agree on maybe everybody having a dental plan?
Love that radio voice, though. Really well. That was good. That was good, right, bro?
Magic 106.
He's got one of the best voices. You and him. You and Robbie have the 2 best voices on YouTube as far as I'm concerned.
Oh, hell yeah. Just yesterday morning, they let me know you were gone. Suzanne, the thoughts they made. Yeah, I got a beautiful singing voice.
I want to see you sing to the Statue of Liberty. You mentioned the Statue of Liberty earlier. I would like to see you get out to the Statue of Liberty and serenade her, because she ain't doing the job she used to do. And I don't know. I feel like
get her in that room with Marjorie Taylor Greene and Officer 667. And I feel like I can heal these women. I'm tired of screaming at women on a microphone in a giraffe onesie. I want to get, my next album, I just want, I'll have a bunch of songs about Marjorie, like, wake up, wake up, wake up. Oh, baby, let's make love tonight, 'cause you do it right. Baby, I want to insurrect that,
I will say this. You definitely are an inspiration. I've having you on Sons of Liberty, just a little bit of time, I finally got to get in that room. I felt the same way I do now. Completely inspired, ready to go. And and ready to literally jump off the sidewalk into the street. If that's not you, like if you're just one of the people that's been listening, that's been waiting for that moment, I gotta say, man, if you're not inspired after listening and watching and seeing someone who, by the way, in a very real moment with the glasses off, will tell you is going through a lot right now, but he finds a way to get those glasses on. The story is inspiring. Your stories are inspiring.
You guys are inspiring. I love you guys. And I'll say this, man, you know, off the character and shit, I'm the last Patillo in America. I lost my mom to my kidney disease, my grandmother. I lost my father a year ago. I lost this woman right here. If you can see the tattoo.
Yeah,
that was China from the WWE, who I lived with for about 4 months when she got back from Japan. I'm on her documentary way too much. If anybody wants to see the doc, slide into my DMs. It was put on Vice. I only knew her for 10 months and she died of a drug overdose. And I have some major demons. I've tried to take myself out of this planet probably 3 to 4 times. And I'm telling you people right now, you can still find heaven on earth. You don't have to just play defense in life. You don't have to just fight to stay sane. You can surprise yourself with hope, and you can surprise yourself with the fact that we could all come together. We might not agree about men and women's sports. We might not agree about the border. That does not necessarily mean we have to go to war. I want you on the MAGA and the woke side to get as many benefits as me. I want you to be as happy as me in life. Life is too short any other way, man. So if I have to be ridiculous as a sort of Jeffrey Epstein giraffe, so I can tell you to take it down a notch and get back to love and fun, and let's romanticize this country again so the rest of the world's like, F yeah, dude, I want to go to America again this summer. They got it together for a little bit. That's all I care about, man. Life's too short, man. I know we're all hurting, and that's all the more the reason to try to figure out ways we can come together.
Absolutely love it. Rook,
Thank you for being with us tonight, Robbie.
I love you guys.
That's all I can say, man. I thank you so much. What we're gonna do, Rook, when you get there on Tuesday, I'm looking for some good footage. This month I'm not doing much, but I'll be back in the fight starting next month, and back to traveling and doing what we got to do.
Yeah, next Monday night we'll be in DC. So I'll see you in DC, Robbie.
Hell yeah, we'll make the MIFs. I love you guys, and don't stop believing, man. We're on the verge of greatness again, and we're going to know where it came from because we were there at ground level.
Y'all heard it here first.
Thank you, sir.
Have a good night.
It is now.